Welcome back. Today, we're going to be discussing the new AI roadmap that has been rolled out and discussed by the founder of Internet Computer and chief scientist of Dfinity, Dominic. That's him right there. Now, recently we've been covering caffeine AI and some of the implementations that are being rolled out for the Internet Computer when we're specifically talking about artificial intelligence models that can code and create programs, applications, and more, and then deploy it and run it on the Internet Computer directly. But there's been some critiques that I've had, and many of you have had, about the caffeine AI rollout that occurred in June and then July. And here we are now in the second half of 2025. And some of the metrics that we were seeing improving in the Internet Computer's ecosystem kind of stabilized. And that kind of made me question, at least as an investor, as an analyst, whether the Internet Computer is achieving its goals for the AI rollout and AI capabilities. Well, now we're getting updates from Dominic about caffeine AI's current usage and future rollout and implementations on the Internet Computer that we're going to be going through and discussing in detail today. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel, give the video a free thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think down below. And let's get right into today's video, the AI roadmap for the Internet Computer ecosystem. So this was a first tweet from Dominic. He said, caffeine fact is around 726 users with early access codes are already pushing 10 apps each and still building more. This is the genesis of Web 4 where AI meets blockchain. That is cloud, aiming for millions of new apps on Internet Computer by 2026. Now, here's the deal, guys. He said that basically 726 users are pushing 10 apps each, which would bring us to about 7,500 actual applications. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but let's say around the $7,000 range. I'm sorry, 7,000 app range. So to get to 1 million, we have to significantly and exponentially increase that. And not only just increase that, but find these apps that are actually going to create real products, not just nonsense. And so the question has become, like, what is going on with caffeine AI? What is going on with on-chain AI and further rollouts? And how is, more specifically, how is this going to impact the network usage, and more importantly, the Internet Computer coin, the crypto, the token, the thing that we are investing in? Because remember, the AI that they're creating specifically that we're going to be talking about in today's video, caffeine AI, this is not an Internet Computer exclusive program, right? There are large language models with other companies that they've created that can do basically the same thing. Now, caffeine AI is specific for the Internet Computer, and it's being developed in conjunction with some of the lead developers of the ecosystem. So you would imagine that they're probably doing some things to integrate, the valuation of the ecosystem with whatever these AI products that they're creating are. But we can't take this for granted, right? Because at the end of the day, they're trying to create a business and a strategy for them, not for me and my bag, right? And so this is important that we understand how caffeine AI is going to be rolled out, how this is going to impact the network, how is this going to impact the users of the network, the developers of the network, and more importantly, on this channel, the investors in the network. Because here's the deal. There's a lot of cryptos out here, for example, XRP, where you can be bullish on Ripple and bullish on XRP, but that doesn't mean the price is going to go up, especially knowing that Ripple is selling up to 1 billion coins per month from their escrow on the open market. So if they do get an ETF, where is the money coming from? It's coming from Wall Street and going directly to Ripple. It's just a wealth transfer that doesn't include the XRP army. And so we have to understand to make sure that these ecosystems are integrating the coin, the token, the crypto for the project into everything they're creating. Otherwise, you have Ripple and XRP. You'll have Dfinity and Internet Computer. And that's not what we want. We want the coins to be fully integrated in the whole ecosystem, similar to how Ethereum, you need Ethereum, you need to interact with Ethereum, and you need to utilize Ethereum to interact with the Ethereum network. Even layer 2s, layer 3s on top of Ethereum all kind of come back to the ETH layer 1 and the ETH coin. And so that's one of the things that we talk about on this channel a lot. I know that there's a lot of other channels, they just want to talk about the technicals, the bullish stuff, all of that. But on this channel, we really want to deep dive, dive deep into the tokenomics and how these ecosystems are growing and or not growing, and how they're going to impact the coin. And so let's understand a little bit more from Dominic. And don't forget to give this video a free thumbs up. And by the way, you can check out my other internet computer videos by just typing in here on YouTube, the Cryptoviser ICP, or go to my YouTube page, click on the videos tab, and then there should be a magnifying glass, and just type in ICP and you'll see all of the videos that we posted dating back to when the coin launched. Anyway, so Dominic posted in the second half of 2025, here is a general availability schedule for caffeine. Phase 1. We're working to make Caffeine Master Chat fully open to the public. Estimated time of arrival in the end of August. At this point, you still need access codes to build, but the code disbursements will greatly accelerate, saying that they now have tens of thousands of people waiting for a code to be able to utilize Caffeine AI. He said the team has been re-architecting Caffeine's scaling framework for a bunch of important reasons, but when phase 1 begins, the master chat will already have been migrated. Phase 2 is we're working to give everyone access to a free draft app creation with an ETA of mid-September. All those waiting in line for access codes will receive them before general availability. So we have phase 1 in August, phase 2 in September, now phase 3. He said we're working to unlock pay for usage, which is necessary to allow people to push changes to draft app functionality into live apps at scale. Live apps are permanently online and consume real cycles, or the gas of the ICP ecosystem. And to allow people to create millions of draft applications, we're working for an ETA of October. To reach phase 3 in October, we also need our new ICP blob storage service, also known as file storage, to be online and integrated. We already have something working internally for that. He says the reason for this is our early users love creating things like their own sovereign Google Drive, shared family photo galleries, and things like that. There's no reason to believe when we open the floodgates, this will get less popular. Currently, the app's early users are creating and maintaining their files in application storage. For example, the ICP Canister Smart Contracts memory. However, that memory costs $5 a gigabyte on Internet Computer, which is very high. So once Caffeine is in production, unless the methodology that uses the AI to store media file changes, storing 1 terabyte photo collection, this would cost the user about $5,000 a year, which is obviously ridiculous, Dominic says. He goes on to say the blob storage will be crazy cheap by comparison, something like 2.5 pennies per gigabyte, which means a user will pay $25 a year in cycles for storing a 1 terabyte photo collection. He says for the engineers among the readers who want to know more, the new service provides immutable storage, which means blobs can be written once or uploaded, read many times, viewed or served, and then garbage collected when not needed or deleted, but not manipulated in place like data held in canister memory. Behind the scenes, he says this is quite a major lift for the Caffeine AI team because blob functionality must be integrated with the way the Motoko programming language and its enhanced orthogonal persistence system works, essentially, so that garbage collection of unneeded blobs is completely automatic and AI can continue writing code in the same groundbreaking way on ICP that it does today, just hacking out the abstract logic and nothing else. So you see, one of the challenges that they're currently experiencing, and I don't know how this is not something that was kind of foreseen, was the fact that it's going to cost a lot of money to do this. They cannot, and it's not just internet computers AI, it's pretty much all the AIs, right? We've been talking about this, the fact that OpenAI, XAI, Google AI, they haven't figured out a way to monetize this, right? Granted, some companies are going to pay fees to, utilize, or individual users will pay fees to utilize the technology, but on a grander scale, it needs to be cheap. Otherwise, people are not going to use it, right? It needs to be easy and scalable. Otherwise, people are not going to use it. And so one of the things they have to do is figure out how to get these blobs so that the storage on the internet computer is not as much. Obviously, there's no conversation about security of these Google Drives. This is probably something that I would be extremely concerned about on a network that is brand new, but something to keep in mind there. Phase 4. Dominic says, we haven't set any estimated time of arrivals for phase 4 yet, but we will work towards flicking the switch that allows anyone to publish apps to the app market in short order so people can create cool apps through conversation, then either share them with the world for free or resell them. He said, I can't say much now, but Caffeine's app marketplace will work differently to any app store you've probably ever imagined and in mind-bending ways, but no examples. Okay, it's going to be very cool and people around the world will gain a whole new way to make money. Now, here's the deal. It seems like after phase 3, there's no actual plan of action, right? Saying, well, I can't say much, but this is going to be incredible. It's like, you got to give us something. Otherwise, this is just fluff and talk. And by the way, the reason I'm being so blunt with my analysis is because of where we are in the cycle. Second half of 2025, I personally believe is the end of the bull market for this cycle. And therefore, we have to really understand which cryptos we should be holding, which cryptos we should not be holding, and which cryptos are kind of up in the air. You know, the technology that Internet Computer has and is capable of is not going away. I don't think it is. And I just think it's going to get better. But the price of ICP may not reflect that because the market wants things today, now. Where are we now? And so saying phase 1 is going to be this, phase 2 is going to be this, phase 3 is going to be this. And if they don't meet these these deadlines or these estimated time of arrivals, it's going to really push everything back. I mean, they've had over a year to work on this already. From the first AI demo that we saw, that was in the beginning of 2024. We're now in the end of 2025, so a year and a half. And all we've really seen is just 720 people have access to Caffeine AI. And we have shown demos on this channel. But I don't know that it's getting the, I guess, the highlight that it should. And I think a lot of this does come down to marketing, because as you guys can even see in this tweet thread, Dominic continues to say caffeine, 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 but not Caffeine AI. And so, again, if you are bullish on ICP, but the products built on ICP cannot market themselves to the masses, that is a problem. Nobody in crypto knows what caffeine is besides coffee, which, by the way, I'm drinking for this video. What are you guys drinking? I'm drinking iced coffee, actually. But nobody knows what caffeine is. And just saying to people in crypto, well, if you utilize caffeine, they'll be like, yeah, if I utilize caffeine every morning, I get my work done. That's what I do. They have to get the marketing down right. And they haven't done it yet. And I don't know, I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's because they want this to slowly roll out. Maybe they want to wait for the next cycle. And all of this is just kind of testing and laying the groundwork so that the next cycle is when everything is fully baked and released. I don't know, because again, they're not really communicating as clear. Granted, I love this kind of rollout and roadmap being very, very clear, clearly kind of drafted out by Dominic. And this should probably be on the roadmap portion of the Internet Computer's website. There is a roadmap here, right here. But the problem is that it all comes back to the network, the marketing, and people understanding what Internet Computer is creating. And I don't know that they're doing a good job at that right now. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just they don't want that much attention as they're creating this product and this rollout. But the thing is, they need to be able, I'll give you guys a perfect example. As I was kind of researching through this, somebody said, I don't remember if it was in a comment or on social media, but they basically said that, you know, the Dfinity team still, or the Caffeine AI team still hasn't put together demos of the winners at the hackathon that Internet Computer had at the rollout or second phase rollout of Caffeine AI. And there were winners. There were like 5 or 6 winners that created seemed like pretty powerful applications that could change a lot of things for businesses or individuals or whatever. And we still, almost a month later, still have no video demos from that, unless I'm missing something, which is totally possible because there's so much going on in crypto that it's very hard to follow everything and stay on top of it. So some of that may be my fault, but I don't think that we've seen that because I probably would have done a video on it already, right? So it seems like after phase three, everything's kind of up in the air. And it is important that they get through these different phases and that they bring the costs down and make things more accessible. And that they're also looking at what needs to be tweaked on the back end. I'm sure they're watching all of these users and what they're creating and seeing what mistakes or errors or improvements can be made to the large language model to improve these things, which is obviously good. I don't want this video to be like it's bad. It's just really taking a closer, more in-depth look at the potential future of internet computer and caffeine AI. But like I said, I don't think internet computer is going to get smaller or that the technology is going to not advance. I'm more worried about how fast it can advance and how it's going to impact the internet computer ecosystem. Because as we saw in the June rollout of caffeine AI, there were banks at the conference to see what internet computer was rolling out. And I think that they need to keep that going. And I think a lot of that comes down to marketing. But anyway, moving on. Phase 5, Dominic said, will work towards flicking the switch that allows caffeine users, it should say caffeine AI users, to add trustless Web3 multi-chain functionality into their apps. Currently, caffeine restricts this because of complexities, even though the internet computer supports this natively. For example, when you're developing an app in draft mode, it needs to interact with dummy ledgers, while live apps, which ultimately get their logic from draft apps, need to interact with real ledgers. And this kind of thing needs to work transparently, since self-writing is app development and ownership through conversation only. And then he goes into phase 6 and beyond. No dates, but expect the following. Massive acceleration using ASICs for inference, so maybe some type of integration with Bitcoin mining companies as well. Enterprise features enabling multi-user control flows for pushing changes in draft apps to live apps. Conversational workflows that can incorporate rich media and external design documents. The equivalent of MCP for caffeine, I don't know what MCP for caffeine is, which enables rapid automated migration of existing enterprise systems. And he said, hell, maybe even vibe coding hooks for craft coders. Don't know what that is either. But anyway, I do think that it would be pretty unbelievable if internet computer got a Bitcoin mining company to back using ASICs. Because from my understanding, Bitcoin mining is done on ASICs. So a Bitcoin mining company could potentially be infrastructure for internet computer ecosystem as well. Now, is that going to happen? I don't know. I would probably say it would more likely to happen with like a BitDeer or Tether or something like that versus like Bitfarms or TerraWolf or Riot or Marathon. I don't think they're really interested in that kind of thing. But it will be very interesting to see how this all does play out. I definitely love having a little bit more of a clear picture on where the rollout of this AI capabilities are going to be and when. That way we have deadlines. But the good thing about deadlines is we have something to look forward to. The bad thing about deadlines is if they're missed, it pushes every other deadline back. And it also can affect the confidence in the ecosystem and therefore the price of the crypto. And so we're in the final phases of the bull market in the end of 2025, generally speaking. But AI is not. AI, the narrative and the cycle is just beginning. And so because internet computer is in this kind of interesting space between two different categories of industry, between AI, crypto and blockchain, et cetera, there is a potential that internet computer will do well in a bear market if they're able to achieve these deadlines, if they're able to achieve more adoption from larger users and companies, and if they're able to get their message across. This is the biggest hurdle for most companies, definitely in crypto, especially in these niche categories of technology, where they have to be able to market what they're doing so the masses understand. And while, granted, the masses will understand some of this, right? We have to remember we have banks involved, we have AI companies involved, we have venture capital and angel investors involved, and they all are watching and they're all learning. But if it seems too complicated or the marketing is bad, it all collapses under it. And so right now, internet computer, a large portion of the future for ICP seems to be this AI and the AI capabilities of the chain. But this is one large language model, and this is one product that I think a lot of us are kind of betting the game on. And I don't know that that's a good investment strategy. And that's why I am really digging to understand what internet computer is doing with caffeine, what they're doing in terms of kind of elevating it to the point where companies are interested, where they are engaging banks like Citibank that was at their conference to integrate these kind of capabilities or technologies, maybe create banking apps and finance apps. But, end of cycle, and a lot of things are still up in the air. And that makes me nervous from a price perspective. Again, the technology I think is going to be fine. And I think that internet computer is going to be, I would hope it's going to be way more advanced in just a few years in the next cycle. But for this cycle, is it a coin that we need to hold through a bear market? Or do we dump it and kind of wait for better pricing? I don't know what the answer is. But I think you guys do. I mean, most of you are bulls in internet computer. You're going to say, Cryptoviser, buy more, buy more, buy more. But I really want to know from you guys, like, based on the analysis that we just covered on the AI rollout of caffeine, do you think that it's viable that we're going to see mass adoption and usage in the next 6 to 12 months versus the next 2 to 3 years? I think it's more likely that we're going to see the usage in 2 to 3 years versus the next 6 to 12 months, which begs the question, do we hold the coin? Because if they are able to scale and they start scaling over the next 6 to 12 months, we could see the metrics like transaction throughput, et cetera, increasing rapidly and substantially. And this could impact the volume. This could impact the price as well to the upside. But we really have to see these things actually occurring. And so we got through the major hurdle, which was getting AI released, getting people to utilize it, seeing the network being reorganized, right? We saw subnet reorganization to expand, make it more compliant in certain jurisdictions. We've seen the transaction throughput significantly increase, and a lot of the metrics on the network have increased. But what is next, right? Caffeine AI just getting rolled out to more people, that's not a big milestone, right? We want to see a company. We want to see another partner. We want to see some larger implementation or some kind of marketing that really gets the message across to developers in ecosystems outside of internet computer and even non-crypto or blockchain ecosystem developers to understand this technology can make you even better at your job and better at your business than not having it. And I think that Dominic did not talk about any of that in this roadmap. No marketing, no discussions about marketing or, educating the masses about this. And I think that is a huge, huge miss for the rollout, because you can have a great product, but if nobody knows about it and if nobody's using it, it's just a great product with no usage. I'd rather have a great product with a massive usage globally. And I think if they work on this little piece, it's gonna be amazing. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Don't forget to give the video a free thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. We upload every single day of the year to bring you the latest happening in the financial world. See you on the next video. Crypto on.